evening, everyone, and welcome to our second edition of Conversations with Eileen. Tonight, we have a very special guest. He is my friend. He's probably your friend. He's everyone's friend. He is the PTA dad, and he is the originator. He created Nice Things That Happen in East Meadow, and he's a really nice guy. I wish I had a drum roll. Without further ado, it is my privilege to introduce you to my very good friend, Todd Weinstein.
Wow, that's some introduction, Eileen. Thank you.
You know what I was thinking when I was driving home, Todd? I knew I wanted to introduce you this way, and I almost thought, damn, I wish I had, a recording of like a cheering crowd. Yay! It's Todd.
That's great.
I can't imagine anyone that's going to be watching this doesn't know who Todd Weinstein is. Oh. You're a legacy. You're a hero in our community.
You're making me blush, but you're very kind to say.
And you're my friends. And that I'm most proud of.
Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of how you got to be such a nice guy?
Well, I don't know how that's quite a buildup, but it's funny. Wow, you got me speechless for a second. I'm not used to really talking about myself this way.
No way. No way.
Hopefully, this can get edited.
This is who you are, and that's what I want people to see, is as authentic as an individual as we all are.
Authentic. Well, yeah. If you ask me who I am, I guess I'd say I'm Robin's husband, and I'm Alex and Evan's dad. I mean, that's really my claim to fame. That's really where it is. But no, I'm just a guy. I'm just a working guy that likes living in East Meadow, likes takes a little bit of pride in our community, and I want to say I'm the face of some of these projects and we'll talk about and some of these things that we've done, but it's a community effort, and I can't do anything without the support and hard work and energy of the people that rally behind me, and that for that matter alone, I think I'm blessed because I got a big corner behind me, and it's we're very, very fortunate in that respect.
Well, people don't fall in line for just anyone, and they don't get behind someone or a cause for no reason. They want to be a part of something because they think it's a good thing to be a part of. So why don't you tell us how you kind of got involved in the community? What was the...
Well, I guess it goes back to when my oldest son, who's now going off to college, was a kindergarten at Barnum Woods Elementary School. And there was a PTA president that was very, very dynamic in personality and had great leadership qualities. And she was very, very giving of her time, very, very selfless in her volunteerism, and was just very, very welcoming in getting people to want to follow her. And that person was you, Eileen. You're the one that got me started. I was just a guy showing up at a PTA meeting to see what's going on. And from day one, I was embraced by a bunch of moms and a few dads. And, for the greater good. I mean, people that are involved with the PTA, you don't do it for the glory. You don't do it, for anything other than you want to advocate for your kids and your community. And I really I learned a lot from you. So you kind of got me roped into it. That's how it really got started. And then obviously things dovetailed from there.
Mm-hmm. Let's tell the true story. There was a cupcake that you followed.
Always the baked goods. I will not miss a bake sale.
We had the bake sale. And I remember very clearly, I invited you in and said, why don't you come have a cookie or a cupcake? And that was it. I had you at cupcake.
Oh, you had me at cupcake. That's right.
All those years ago. And although our children are a number of years apart, I left Barnum Woods. They wouldn't let me stay any longer. Security said I had to leave. And I think I handed it off to amazing people, you being one of them, because you accomplished some amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, when when the elementary school principal asks you to do something, I think that's almost up there, like with Don Corleone. You don't say no, And Greg Batari, Mr. Batari, had asked me a bunch of years ago. I mean, this is going back before. I mean, this has got to be going back, I think, 2011, maybe 2010, about wanting to build a playground at Barnum Woods Elementary School. And I mean, what do I know about building a playground and fundraising and all this other stuff? So we went out and we aggressively raised funds to build a first grade playground. And that was really, when you look at the energy around that and what we did to raise, over $20,000 in such a short amount of time to get that playground installed. It was just, that was just unbelievable. And again, me and Janice Howell were the face of the project, but it was a community effort. I mean, the hundreds of people, that helped with the fundraising efforts. And many of them had kids that were either older or graduating out, or that would never enjoy their time on the playground. It was a first grade playground, but we had parents with kids that were going off to Woodland and said, hey, you know what, we're gonna help out. Because it's, you always say, like, you plant a tree for a future generation to enjoy its shade or its fruit. And that's kind of what we did. We built a playground for future generations. I'm going to tell you, and this is going to sound very silly or sappy, but when I walk by that school and I hear kids laughing on that playground, it's so powerful knowing that I was a part of that. And it's great. It's great. So,
and for those that don't know how you fundraised, it was selling bars of chocolate. And I can't even imagine. I know I took a couple of cases and a lot of people took big quantities, and I think that was really helpful. But you built that playground. Oh
yeah, I mean, I remember. I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere around town without my suitcase of chocolate, and we would go to like a game or a park, and hey, we're not leaving until we sell this case of chocolate. And it's funny because we did that, and we did some other projects, but obviously the chocolate bars are most noteworthy. It's one of these things that it's funny when you talk about it. And we've used those chocolate bar fundraisers. 2000. I guess it was right after Hurricane Sandy.
Yes.
When the Francis Hegarty School got flooded and Barnum Woods adopted another elementary school, and we donated to them. I'll never forget, Mr. Batari says to me, hey, we want to fundraise for another school. What are you talking about? Another school? He says, yeah, we want to, fundraise. He says, well, what if we can come up with, I think he said, I think the goal might have been $10,000.
$10,000, yes, it was.
And I'm saying to myself, this is, where are we going to come up with this money? And when it was all said and done, we wound up donating $18,500 to Island Park, and going to that ribbon cutting ceremony was just unbelievable. I mean, seeing again the children there, and then a few years later, when the hurricane went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And, Mr. Onyx Ruiz, our head custodian that everybody loves. I mean, you want to talk about a more beloved man in that school. I mean, and Mr. Tar says, hey, we want to give this, donate money, adopt his childhood elementary school. And we donated $10,000. It was Onyx's, we're going to do it for Onyx. We're going to do it for Onyx. So I'll never forget, we did our ceremony and we sent Onyx back home with a $10,000 check to his childhood elementary school to use that. So yeah, being a part of that is great. I mean, look, I didn't write an $18,000 check. I didn't write a $10,000 check. I helped out. But again, I'm nothing without the help and support of all the community members that come behind us. I mean, we're lucky with that. So it's been fun. It really has been. I mean, those are the major projects. And then of course, we did a few other things at Barnum Woods. We integrated the shoe drive. So every year in April for Earth Day, we collect used shoes, and we teach the kids about recycling and repurposing and charitable thrift, and again keeping stuff out of landfill to help sustainability, and that's fun. I mean, we've raised and donated over 10,000 pairs of shoes in just a couple of years. So it's things like that keep going on. And like, I'm become the shoe guy every April. I'm the shoe guy. And
You're
it's
you're the chocolate bar guy.
it's nice because I mean, thankfully, again, with Barnum Woods, it's funny as a parent, if there are parents with young children, you never want to rush your child's stages. You want to stay in elementary school as long as you can, because once you get to middle school and high school, it stinks. No disrespect to any parents, that might be educators in middle school or high school, but in elementary schools, the most fun. It's where the kids develop. They get there. And as a parent, you really feel hyper connected to the elementary school.
Yes.
Unfortunately, most parents will not feel that way about the middle school and high school. So that's why I've kind of stuck around, because I get to do, and Mr. Vitari is so supportive, and the PTA and the PMT are so supportive of the different things that we've done, the initiatives we've done over the years. I mean, now, our courtyard installation, we come up with these ideas and then we execute them. And that's the fun part about it, is nobody's saying, hey, you can't do it. Nobody says, hey, that's a dumb idea. It's, hey, let's come up with this outlandish idea and let's figure out a way to make it work.
So talk about the courtyard, because many people don't know exactly what that entailed. You actually sold an item to create. Well, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, so basically, I had this idea with the PMT that I'm a part of. I've been a part of for several years now. We wanted to build an outdoor classroom. It's hot in the school. April, May, June. The kids go outside, and where can we have like an outdoor reading session? Maybe a one-on-one. Maybe a group of students outside. Something a little different. And we came up with the idea that, hey, we're going to build a courtyard, and we're going to sell monogram bricks where people can leave their footprint, their legacy on Barnum Woods property. And the Weinstein family, can say, the graduating class of, 20, whatever. And we sold bricks, and we have this beautiful, beautiful monogram inside with our head, hearts, and hand logo. And then we sold benches. So we'll have the installation will be done by, God willing, COVID shut us down a little bit, but God willing, by the end of the summer, we will have this new courtyard installed, and it's going to be fantastic. And again, when you walk by the community, you see people sitting on the benches, and you see people enjoying a courtyard in front of the school. I mean, that's great, and that'll live on for many, many years, and we're very excited about that. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Todd, those initiatives, as you said, for you, they're not self-serving, because your children have moved on. My children have moved on. Tell me about the satisfaction. Tell me about the emotion that you feel when you get to accomplish that goal, when you surpass that goal.
It's wild. I mean, like the ribbon cutting at the playground was probably the biggest deal, when the entire student body and community leaders, elected politicians, school administrators were all there. And we did something. Like, we did something out of nothing. It was just an idea that we executed, and it was wonderful. And again, we've been able to do it with other things, around, again, with Mr. Onyx, with our Flag Day ceremony. And, we've just come up with these different things that become, you do something, 3 years, it becomes tradition. So the shoe drive is a tradition. The Flag Day ceremony, which again, we crafted that in the walk through the woods through the PMT, and it becomes tradition. And really last year, when we didn't get to do these things, it was depressing. Flag Day came this year and went, and we didn't have our big ceremony. We didn't have our walk through the woods. It was truly disappointing.
Well, I'm with you with that, because I do attend the Flag Day at Barnum Woods, and have attended the events at East Meadow High School, because I feel that they are really important. But you know what? We're gonna look onward and upward, and we're gonna make up time, and we're gonna get back in our lane and get the things done that we want to get done. But let's talk a little bit about the community, and tell me about how you've been able to engage so many people, because there's another platform that you had this crazy idea, and you did it. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, because that's a really nice thing.
Well, and it's a funny story, because, there's a story behind it, and it might be a little long, and I'll try to speed it up a little bit. But, Facebook's fun, and Facebook's also dangerous, and Facebook's also negative, and Facebook can be very powerful in many ways. It could be fun to connect with people, but it could also be aggravating, because you see some stuff on social media platforms that just don't go the way they should be going. It's like when you're a kid, mom says you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. Well, Facebook says if you have an opinion on anything, you could be as nasty as you want. You could hide behind a keyboard and a screen and say or do things you wouldn't say to somebody on the street, in the neighborhood and things like that. So years ago, this is going back a little over 5 years ago in the summertime, I just happened to be scrolling through Facebook. I'm on one of the community pages. It's one of the moms pages that is in every single town, whether it's East Meadow moms or Merrick moms or Bellmore moms or Wantagh moms or, any town USA moms. They have these pages. And somebody happened to put up a post about an experience buying a bagel sandwich. And they were frustrated about the sandwich. And again, I wouldn't necessarily make a posting about a turkey sandwich, but this person decided to. And then dozens and dozens and dozens of comments about this business. This business who's a member of a chamber of commerce. This business who supports the Little Leagues, who supports the PTAs. This business who supports the Girl Scouts and the veterans and you name it.
And they live in the community.
Oh yeah. So rather than the consumer that had the bad, call the store. Hey, can I get another sandwich made? No, instead of that, it's all this negativity about a business in town. And I'm saying, so what's the end game? What are you looking for? Mrs. Poster, what are you looking for? Are you looking for the store to go out of business? Is that what you want? Do you want a vacant storefront on East Meadow Avenue? Do you want a vacant storefront on Merrick Avenue on Hempstead Turnpike? Are you not going to be happy until the store is out of business because you want to, because you had a bad sandwich? So what's the purpose of that? So I got so angry about it that I said, you know what? I worked retail. I worked food services before. Anybody is going to make it right. You have a problem, we fix it. Your son worked in food. We've all been there. We fix it. No, rather just complain about it and get nothing out of it. So I came up with the idea. I said, we're going to make this page called Nice Things That Happen in East Meadow. And we started on it. I said, we're only going to say nice things. You got to live in the community, work in the community, have some tie to East Meadow, and you can only write nice things. No negativity. I don't want recommendations. Don't tell me, I'm looking for a landscaper, where can I get nails done? No. I just want just nice things that are going to be representative of our community. You're happy with the Little League, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, the spring concert, somebody helped shovel out a neighbor's walkway. Somebody's house burned down. We did something like that. Someone's house, the houses burned down up on the north side of town on Newbridge, and all of a sudden we raised a bunch of money for them.
Yeah.
Things like that, and use that as the beacon of the community. Again, I look, does every town have their warts and wrinkles? Sure they do. Does every town have a graffiti or a blighted building or a crazy neighbor? Yeah, we all have that. But why didn't you read about it all the time, all the negativity? I don't want to see that. What nice things. So that's how it started. So we start the page, and we get a couple hundred members. And I'll never forget Ben Diamond, who's a lifelong East Meadow resident, great family, and it says to me, one day he says to me, you know what, Todd, I want to use your page to try to do some community good. I said, okay, what do you want to do? He says, well, the Inn of Hempstead does this back to school supply drive. I want to use your page to try to get that out there. I said, okay. So that's on a Friday night. I kid you not, Saturday morning, the first thing I log onto my computer, I see an article that comes to me about a guy in Texas that bought a shopping cart full of school supplies for a teacher. Just because the woman had a whole, and that was the first thing I read on social media that day. So it's, wow, that's kind of crazy. Like, what's going on with that? Like, is Mark Zuckerberg stalking me? I don't know. So that's Saturday. I'm telling you, this, you can't make this up. Yeah. This following Sunday, I'm in Philadelphia seeing a baseball game. Now, I'm not a Phillies fan, not even a big baseball fan, but I'm seeing a game and I walk in and the giveaway is all kids 14 and under get a little back to school supply kit. So I'm saying, I said, this is God telling me, yes. The universe is telling me you got to take this project on.
Yes.
So I reached out to Dana Lopez at the inn, who's now a dear friend. I've known her now a bunch of years. And we started this back to school supply drive. And I would come home every day from work, and on my front doorstep would be bags of notebooks and backpacks and crayons and pens and pencils and rulers. And I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. Every single night when I come home from work, my front steps are covered with school supplies. And we just started doing that. And then, so funny story about that is I said, that was the first year we did. It was great. Showed up at the end. They were so happy. So I said to Dana a year later, I said, we're going to do it again. So Dana contacts me midway through the supply drive. She says, well, Todd, when are you doing the drop off? I said, I don't know, I'll come by in like another week or two. She said, well, we really need your stuff. And my heart fell to my chest. I said, wow. I'm like, they're counting on us. There are people that are counting on us to deliver these school supplies. And the burden that I felt was like, wow. And again, I'm the face of the group, but I didn't donate, $4,000 worth of school supplies. The community did. And people just kept delivering. So our friends so when Stu Leonard's opened up in town, I reached out to them and said, hey, let's figure out a way we can help each other out. I said, would you be willing to give something away to people that help out our school supply drives? And they're fantastic. There, Stu Leonard's are great community partners. So every time somebody donated a school supply drive, they got a ice cream cone token. So meanwhile, you show up at Stu Leonard's, you get your free ice cream, you spend $100 there because you're not walking out less than $100, and it was a win-win. So again, everybody that donated got the ice cream from Stu Leonard's. They're great. They shop there, and again, it was just great. So we've been doing that with the inn for like 5 years now, and I guess this will be the official platform. We're going to launch it again. We're going to do it again this year because last year we took it off because of COVID. We didn't know what was going on, but we're going to do it again this year. And the funny thing is I wasn't sure what the pulse would be like. And one of our donors that donates every year to us, he texted me and said, hey, are you doing the school supply drive? Because I normally donate backpacks and I'm shopping. I said to him, I said, you know what?
Oh.
I said, yes. I said, if you're reaching out, then the answer is yes, we're doing it. And we did it. So, we'll be doing that again. So again, through this Nice Things page,
great.
We've done, we did something, right before COVID, our EM Vision 2020, we donated socks and gloves. Our goal is to raise over 2,020 socks and gloves. And we did, and we gave it to the inn and Coalition of the Homeless. And again, that's the community doing it. We did the toy drive for John Thiessen. Again, I didn't donate $3,200 worth of toys myself. That was people helping out and shopping for toys. And again, raising money to go, to buy toys for kids. We recently did this past year, to support the restaurants that were so beaten down. We did the box pools for the Super Bowl and the NCAA tournament, where again, we spent $2,100 in gift cards to local restaurants. So rather than, everyone does a box pool, everyone loves them. And if you're lucky to win, great. But instead of getting $50 in cash, you got $50 to the Green Turtle. You got $250 to Garden Social or Margaritas. Right. These are all restaurants that are part of the Chamber of Commerce, that are all Little League sponsors, that always, whenever people ask, they help. So again, not that it was me, but we as a community have an obligation to support those businesses in their time of need. And, you look at Borelli's and what happened with them and, with the whole Dave Portnoy thing. It was, it was just inspiring.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So, am I the face of Nice Things? Sure I am. But I'll never forget, a couple of years ago, I'm at Maddie's Toy Stop in Merrick. We're doing the toy drive, and Laura and Jeff Schneebaum come in. And they're neighbors of mine. They're great community people. Jeff coached my son in baseball. Great, again, Laura, big PTA executive, through the years. And I said to Laura, I said, God, I said, every time I ask, I said, you always show up, you always deliver. She says, yeah, I'm going to keep on doing it. I said, well, I'm going to keep on asking. And every time, we do something, the same, I want to say it's the same faces, but I get new ones all the time.
That's right.
And you don't know who you're going to reach and when. But then all of a sudden, like one kid reached out to me and said, yeah, we were so impressed by what you did with the school spot. We want to raise health and beauty aids, shampoos and soaps for the inn. So one kid did a senior project, and that was his thing. And, I went to the inn with him, showed him what it was all about, and he helped out, and he was that inspired that he did something on his own. And to me, that's the most rewarding part. Yeah, I mean, is my face, on the webinar now? Sure. Is my face occasionally in the Herald? Sure it is. But it is this is a community effort. And again, the community, I keep asking, the community keeps saying yes. So in that respect, we're blessed. We really are.
We are blessed. And as I had mentioned in the first podcast with Robin Fitzpatrick, I may be slightly prejudiced. I, like you, I prefer to see the good. There's good in everyone, and you'll find it, and it's there. They may not know how to navigate, or they may not know what to do or how to even start. What do I do to take the first step? But I will say that I do believe our community is very unique in when a call goes out for help, whether it be someone's house was on fire, they lost everything. You did the basketball pools. I know nothing about it. I Venmoed you the money, and I said, pick the boxes. And you said, give me the numbers. And I said, I don't care. Just pick them for me, whatever. But you also did donate to other organizations also.
Yeah, so when we did the box pool, part of what we did is the main goal in this case was, and the funny story is when I was going out to the restaurants, it was like I was on a shopping spree with other people's money. And it was great. So I walk into La Novella on East Meadow Avenue, and I tell the guy I'm looking to buy a gift card, and we're doing this thing. He says, well, what do you need? I said, I don't need anything. He says, well, we want to participate. I said, yeah, I know. I said, and I look around, and I kid you not, I looked around an empty restaurant because it was COVID season, and the guy wants to give us I said, no, we want to give you.
And he always gives.
Yeah, and like I said, so I said, so we spent a couple $100 in gift cards there. Again, the guys over Garden Social, these guys are great. Yeah. We bought. We bought over the course of the year, we bought, I think, $1,200 worth of gift cards. They donated back 10% of the proceeds to the Dave Portnoy Barstool Fund. And I'm saying here again, this are struggling restaurants that want to help others out. And that kind of sums up our community. I mean, you talk about East Meadow. I mean, what makes it so great? People answer the call. I mean, so yeah, we helped out those, but and we also helped out the end. We gave them, money, because obviously money goes a long way to a food pantry. And we also helped out the American Legion Hall, which I know is very near and dear to your heart. A bunch of years ago when those guys needed help, they didn't know who to turn to. And all of a sudden somebody answered the call in my friend Eileen. And she says, you know what, I'm going to take this on. And yeah, you're a mom, and yeah, you work, and yeah, you've got kids, and yeah, you've got responsibilities, and yeah, you know what, I'm going to, carve out a chunk of time. They always say, if you want something done, you give it to a busy person, and the busier the person is, the more time that they can find, and like I said, you might be running around, you might be 5 minutes late, your hair might be a little messy, but you know what, you show up and you get it done. So these guys needed it. They, when I went to that building with you a couple of years ago, and I saw it was in bad shape. And you see yourself, and I won't get political, but in a country divided, there's no reason not to support our veterans. These guys give their health, their mental health, their physical health. You look at what these guys have gone through. And, some guys, you don't know what they're wrestling with inside, what they've seen, what they've done, what they've experienced. We don't know that, but we get to enjoy the freedoms that they help provide. So when these guys are in a tattered building or rundown building that, life took its toll on it, and you answer the call and some other people around town answer the call. It's one of these things where we have to answer the call, and I've always felt that it's one of these things where whatever you give, you get back tenfold. And I know, like when I've seen you there, the the smile on your face and the warmth in your heart, it's infectious. And when you see that, you know, and again, I've seen the people around you, they want to be a part of that. You know, people want to be a part of good things. You know, the negativity is always going to be there, you know, but people want to be a part of good things. And again, if you're a beacon of the community, if you shine your light brighter for all the darkness that's out there, I know it's going to get a little proverbial, but if you're out there and you want to, and people want to follow you, you know, it's people are funny. I mean, people sometimes they just need a little nudge. It could be a Facebook post or a text message or something that you don't know what's going to inspire somebody when. But sometimes they just need that little snap, that little, oh yeah, you know what, I should do that. You know what, I'm at the CVS. Let me buy a couple extra notebooks and put it on Todd's. That, you know, we're doing we're doing a food drive. You know what, let me give the guy outside from the Kiwanis Club. Let me give him $10, or let me get a bag of groceries for them.
Because it all adds up. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. Is some people think, listen, you know, we're all struggling. I don't know anyone of my friends that, you know, could afford to, you know, buy a yacht and you know, have James drive them around. No, we're down to earth, average taxpayers, and we do what we can. And sometimes we think, my $5 won't help, or my $10 won't help, but get $5. Now you've got $25.
Right.
$25 goes a long way. You know, when you're trying to help, whether it be children at the inn that are in need, or the veterans. And by the way, the money that you did donate did go a portion to the stove.
We donated, not you. We.
Yeah, we got them their stove. We got them their stove, and the place looks fantastic. And they are so appreciative. And I will just say one thing: they're very humble, and they don't like to talk about themselves.
Right.
It's never about me for them. It's about their brotherhood and the women there, because it is an American Legion Hall, and the camaraderie and the togetherness. And I think that is probably what has spoken to me and to you, because we did go there together. But you have an event coming up. So
we're going to kick off the back to school supply drive again. This will be, I guess I think the 5th year out of 6. And again, last year we didn't do it, but yeah, we're going to do our back to school supply drive. So we're going to go and we're going to ask you to, you know, take pictures with your donation and post them, because I love that. You know, I love seeing the smiling faces, and I might be gone for a couple of days, and I'll come home and I'll see these pictures of people in front of my house, or the Ring doorbell goes off and there's people, you know, and I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. And, you know, no donation is too small. Again, whether it's a pack of pencils or 2 notebooks. I mean, again, the domino effect is, you know, it's if everybody just does something small. I mean, you look at like the box pool. We had 100 people, you know, participate with the $20 with was it $25? I'm trying to think now. Yeah, $25. We had 100 people for $25. Like $25 isn't a lot of money to a lot of people. But when you add it all up, you know, and you bring in $2,500 and give out $2,200 in gift cards and another couple $100 for the American Legion and the Inn, I mean, it's great. I mean, and it's that's the fun part. So again, $5, $1. I mean, it's one of these things where just it comes back to you. You know, it might not come back to you. That dollar might not, but it comes back to you in good energy, good karma,
and filling you up.
It really does.
So let's tell everyone a little bit more of the specifics. What are the items that you can use? Can they make a monetary donation?
Yeah. So what we'll do is sure. So we'll have a link that if you want to donate through Venmo. If you want to, you know, buy stuff through online. We like people when they drop it off at my house. And again, I go there with, you know, a Jeep full of product, and the kids help me out, and, you know, I bring them to I brought a couple of the neighborhood kids to the inn to see what it's like, because to be at a food pantry is very, very humbling.
Yes.
Because, pandemic year, you didn't realize how many people needed their help. And you don't know how many people are one paycheck away from their whole life being disrupted. Right. And when you see the people there and how grateful they are to get fed a meal, get a hot shower, go home with like even like drawstring bags. Like we've like my house, there's always drawstring bags running around. They use those for takeout food on the weekends. So they use like some kids, old PAL basketball drawstring bag, and that'll be, taking canned foods and goods home for the weekend. So yeah, so definitely more details to follow. I mean, like I said, our community, Eileen, is great. It's just fantastic. And you mentioned it before about what makes our community tick. And the one thing I love about our community so much is really the diversity of it.
Yeah,
we're just a middle of the road, middle class community. Like you said, we work, we play, we pay taxes. But seeing the kids at the schools and every religion, every ethnicity, every nationality, I mean, it's just, you ask me what I love about East Meadow, it's the diversity that we celebrate. We're one of school districts on all of Long Island that observes, observes Diwali, observes Eid, observes Rosh Hashanah. I mean, you don't have, you might have one, the other, but I mean, we embrace all of those cultures. And I like to think that our kids don't know religion or skin color. They know their friends, they know their neighbors, and we're kind of the same way. If somebody needs help, doesn't matter.
Right.
Help. We have to help our community.
Right. Because that's what really, and I think that's the broader message is when you patron in your community, when you help a neighbor out in your community, you're investing in your community. And it's just like a garden. We're growing, we're flourishing. We've got, really outstanding people. And as I said, you're one of them. So I
learned from the best.
I'm extremely proud of all the things that we've accomplished. And just to break it up a little bit, we have had some fun together, Todd. We have had some fun together. We have come up with some crazy fundraisers through the years. We had our Islander game.
Oh yeah.
And we had, and it was for the middle school, I believe. Or was it for the elementary school?
That was elementary school. And I think if you don't recall, we actually had some, we bought tickets for some underprivileged, kids at the school that, that we gave to the social worker.
Yes, there was actually a family that year who had suffered a devastation, and we made sure that that child was there at the game and had an enjoyable time, just to take a break from the personal situation that was very sad. And you and I were very, very, very conscious of that. And I think, even for that situation, for one child, we gave that child a day off. Day off. Today's your day to have fun.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to have fun.
Yeah.
So what's up next? What's up next for you? What grand vision do you see for us, for our community? Are you?
I got a couple of things brewing. Definitely, you have to have something. You gotta, Eileen, you got to leave them wanting more.
And you didn't even tell me. Wow. Okay.
You got to leave them wanting more.
You after this? What's going on?
But the fun thing is, it's like, there's a Hebrew phrase called tikkun olam, and it basically means repairing the world. And you're trying to always repair a broken world. And can you do it? Probably not, but you try to, and that's what you always strive to do. Right. I like to say, you try to leave things a little bit better than you found them.
Yes.
And I think, when your time at Barnum Woods, you left it a little better than you found it.
And that should be our motto in life and everything we do.
So, like I said, long term, I mean, having a kid going off to college in a couple of weeks, and seeing him becoming a student leader, an activist, a charitable guy. I mean, I helped, his groups out, and then they did a bunch of things on their own.
Yes.
And knowing that, and, bragging moment for just a second, like when he writes a college essay and includes me, I'm going to lose it. When he writes that he's inspired by stuff that I've done, I'm like, I'm just melting, and here I am. I think he's just some, lazy slacker teenager, but, maybe a little bit rubs off. And, I think
a lot of it rubs off. A lot of it rubs off. And not only to your children, but to the other children that have benefited by every single event, fundraiser, brick, chocolate bar.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a young lady around town whose dad's pretty involved, among activities. And she's like my biggest supporter. She's on my doorstep with school supplies. She's taking chocolate bars. She's, did the toy drive. I mean, she's like always a part of it.
Yes. And
now she's doing stuff on her own. And I'm like, knowing that, again, between maybe we rubbed off a little bit, maybe she got it from, her parents, who knows? But, we've got a little girl now that, in Barnum Woods that just goes after it, and that's great to see.
Yeah. And, the one thing that I want to kind of emphasize is, and I believe in this really very strongly, is the partnership with businesses in our community. Because, as I said before, when we shop in our community, we're investing our community. We also have to understand, and I know this, many of our business owners, whether it's East Meadow, Merrick, Bellmore, Wantagh, because you and I really at the triangle of Merrick, Bellmore, and East Meadow, we're right in that triangle. They live in our community. Their children go to our school, and they give. Yeah. The Carvel over on East Meadow, on Merrick Avenue.
He lives on my block, by the way.
And Anthony went to school with his daughter, and we've remained friends all these years. My son is 24, and anytime I go in there, he is happy. What do you need? What do you need?
So can I tell you a story about Xenon? Because he's a wonderful guy. Hurricane Sandy year, I was coaching East Meadow T-ball or Minute League, whatever the little guys were. And he was a sponsor of Little League. And it's the end of the year. And you remember during Sandy, they lost power for a long time. You're an ice cream shop. You lost everything, all the inventory.
Yep.
And it says, and I said something about having the team go there, and we want an ice cream party, and he donates the ice cream to the kids. Now, this is a guy that lost his entire inventory 2 weeks before and hosts our team for ice cream.
Yeah.
This is a guy that, like I said, we've, over the years, I've asked him for things, and, I say, what can I give? Oh, no, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, again, so, I mean, I've never seen Jeff Bezos sponsor the East Meadow Little League. I've never seen his name. I've never seen an Amazon truck, show up, and these, so it's everybody, loves these, the online this or the that. But when it's all said and done, it's the shopping local that's really going to make an impact.
Small local. They need it. They need us. And I love the partnership, and we're going to continue that, and we're going to build on that. And, Todd, I can't thank you enough for being my second guest. We've had a great friendship all these years, and you're someone I admire. And, as I said, I'm happy and very proud to call my friend, because I know if I come up with a wacky idea, I know I can call you and you'll say, let's do it.
Well, I know you have a reach across a lot of communities, and I would love to see a nice things that happen in Wantagh. I'd love to see a nice things that happen in Bellmore, nice thing that happens in Merrick, where you have, an administrator that cares about the town, lives in the town, and just wants to promote the good. Because, funny story, like a week or two ago, somebody puts up they found their way to the nice things page, reached out and says, hey, I'm new here. And made a comment. And all of a sudden, Josh from the bagel place
Yes.
says, hey, come in, show them this post. We want to buy you breakfast.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's the good that we have. That's the reach that we could have within our community.
So for any of our listeners that live in our neighboring towns, please take a page out of Todd Weinstein's book. Let's continue. Let's make this nice thing bigger and bigger and bigger, and let's help our community, and let's keep it in our community, and let's help our neighbors, and let's be good neighbors, and let's show Nassau County really how it's done, because this is how it's done. This is how it's done, and you've shown us how it's done.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words, and thanks for your time, Eileen. This is a great forum.
We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna shake it up a little bit, just to give you a little idea. You know what? I think it's very important to highlight individuals. Robin was the first guest. You're the second guest. We're going to be highlighting some, I think, important information in October. We're really going to focus on Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to get some resources out, and we're going to speak to some people, and they have very interesting stories. And, I always say, we're never alone. There's always a common ground, and we don't realize it until we start having the conversation. And that's why I think we came up with Conversations with Eileen, because through conversations, we find solutions, we find common grounds, and that's how we continue to grow.
Awesome.
You get the last word, my friends.
I was just going to say, Eileen, keep up the good work. You're terrific.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will see you all next week. We'll have another local guest, and please stay tuned. All righty. Thanks, Todd.